Hey guys, and welcome back. This is Chosen Architect, and today we are getting ourselves creative flight. That's right, we can now fly. So I hope you guys are ready. So today we're going to be playing around with some fun stuff here back on the Seaopolis mod pack. And well, one of the first things I want to do is make one of the best tools I think that is in this game. Close. It is real close to being, honestly, the best tool in the game. And it's for mechanism. It is going to be this thing. The atomic disassembler is by far, I believe, one of the best tools in the game. And we have all the stuff automated for mechanism, so why not play around with it? Now, the tool itself does have some stuff that you have to kind of configure. You need to go into controls and just search up mechanism and then hit category. And then you need to look through here. The item switch mode is what you need to look at, and that is set to in by default. And so in brings up this wheel. And then what we can do is set this to normal mode, slow mode, fast mode, vein, and extended vein mining. The fast mode, by the way, is incredibly fast. I'm talking like insta break fast. Like on almost everything. Machines, dirt, doesn't really matter. This thing is incredibly fast. As you can see, it has the efficiency on here. Now, you can upgrade this to the mecha tool, but let me tell you, the mecha tool, I still don't think is worth it compared to just having the regular atomic disassembler. This thing is nice. This may be able to accept some upgrades and stuff, but the atomic disassembler, still the perfect tool for the job almost every time. It breaks dirt. I mean, it's like I'm selling this thing, honestly. It breaks dirt. It breaks like everything. So definitely a tool worth getting, and is going to help us as we go through places like the Twilight Forest and other things like that. So speaking of the Twilight Forest, we will go through the Twilight Forest, just not yet. I kind of want the main, I want our cross-dimensional range upgrade to be able to do that, and so we're going to need a lot of power and stuff to be able to get to that point. But before then, we have some other things that we can work on, and for that, how about we automate Essence, and we can do that inside this room, which is, I guess, going to end up being like our automation station room. That's what it's going to end up turning into. Just basically keeping a large portion of nasty automation machines, automation monsters. They end up turning into like machine monsters after a while. So yeah, we should be able to get through here. And by the way, it was really slow to break these blocks. Now it's insta break on these blocks because, well, this requires a shovel, but man, it breaks these things incredibly fast. You know, I'm going to place this on top since I don't know if we're going to have anything major here on top. We can go ahead and throw that there. That way I can run some cable along the bottom to have that come up into here. And we are going to automate Mystical Agriculture Essence. Now that we have our Master Infusion Crystal, our life just became a little bit easier. I should say a lot easier. So let's get into we need to get into RF tools and refined storage. Refined storage is going to, we're going to need a few things. A detector. It may seem a little bit weird, but a detector is actually something we're going to need. I'm going to explain kind of what it does here in a little bit. We also need these items to be auto-crafted. Let's go ahead and set them up to schedule. Hopefully they will auto-craft. I do have a few things in here that I was auto-crafting earlier. Ah, there they go. That was pretty quick. And so yeah, we can go ahead and craft it. So the detector is basically going to allow us to keep or emit a redstone signal based upon the item amount that exists inside of our refined storage system. So this is a really, really nice tool for setting up automation and keeping certain items in stock instead of just using them all for auto crafting. So with that in mind, we also need to use the RF tools. I know people are going to like be, haha, Chosen, you use it every time. Yes, we're going to need a tier 3 crafter. And this is just going to allow us to automate Mystical Agriculture, I think, way easier. I don't know if we can, you know what, I should probably try and set up and see if we can automate it via this. Somebody was telling me that refined storage does allow you now to use this. I just don't know how, right? So let's just see. Mystical Agriculture. Let's go ahead and set up an autocraft for right now to turn Inferium into this. So this would just allow us to use this one Master Infusion Crystal, because normally it wants to use it wants to use many master infusion crystals. So how do we get Prudentium? Well, we use a master infusion crystal. However, how do I can't tell it to also give back the master infusion crystal. So this is a problem that I'm going to have. I can't tell it to return the master infusion crystal. Let's move this. Maybe you can by clicking on it. It doesn't, from what I remember, it doesn't return it like it's supposed to. Somebody was telling me that this was a thing. But I don't think so. Unlimited uses. I mean, let's go ahead and just set this first craft up, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's go back to our main area, and let's put this into AutoCraft, and I'll just AutoCraft a little bit of this stuff. And if we put this in here, it's going to want a lot of them. So let's see. If we go to Prudentium, which should be in here somewhere. Let's just say we want 10. Yeah, it's going to say we need 9 master infusion crystals. There's no way to tell it to give the master infusion crystal back every time. Not that I know of anyways. Yeah, so from what I can see, as far as this being auto-craftable, not in this method. So let's go back to the method that I definitely know is tried and true and has definitely worked in the past and should work just fine here in the future as well. So right here are the few things that we're going to need. We're going to need a crafter tier 3. We're going to need this basically 1 block above this point. Or I could probably have it flush with the ground. You know what? I'm going to make sure that it is definitely up in the air. And that way I can kind of space out where I'm going to put these things. The exporter, this is the big thing. This, we need to basically tell it, hey, when you insert Inferium, stop inserting Inferium once you get to a certain point. To be able to do that, we can put this right next to it. This is going to technically connect, which I know looks a little wonky, but it does connect. And we can basically tell this, hey, I need to keep a certain amount in here. So let's get Inferium, for example. Let's just say I want this to keep in here 256. Even though I know 256 doesn't even really cut it there. We are going to probably need more of this later on down the road. Let's just set it to like, I don't know, 1028 or something like that. Or 56. Let's see. I think 1028 should be fine. And what that's going to do is it's going to emit a signal, and we can change basically how it emits it. So this is emit a signal when on the amount, emit a signal when above the amount, emit a signal when under the amount. So we can keep this at the exact amount if we set this to when the signal is, or when the emit signal when above the amount. We want this to be when it's above the amount. I do believe. Yes. So if there's more than this, then it will not emit a signal. Emit a signal when above the amount. Yes. I think. Basically, that means this is going to be sending a signal, and this needs to run when it receives a signal. So only work with a redstone signal. If we turn that on and say, hey, feed me Inferium, technically it should feed Inferium once we hook this thing fully up. Of course, I don't want anything running just yet. I'll show you how it all works here in a little bit. So we need to run that down so everything is connected, and then have an importer in the bottom that is going to be pulling the items in. Now, I do not want to put this on just yet until we get this whole thing fully configured. Now, this is also going to need power, so I'm going to put a point on it. Not going to put it on just yet, but we do need it. So, Inferium. So let's go ahead and set this up. It's actually pretty easy to set the auto crafts for this. All we need is to say, hey, we're going to take this, the item, and it's going to just output the existing stuff. So all items in the input slot are consumed, and then right here we can set it to keep items in the slot. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure that all items are consumed. And then the input, the result of the crafting operation, will stay in the input buffer. We want that for everything except for the last one, which is going to be Supremium, because we're going to be crafting all the way up to Supremium, because that's just probably the best thing to do. If we want to craft later on and we want to craft into the higher stuff, we can, but this is going to make it pretty easy, so we can just down craft from here. I think that's going to be the best way. Then we can pretty much set up auto crafting. We'll always have like Supremium, but then we can downcraft to Inferium, Tritium, and so on and so forth, all the way down to Prudentium. So let's go. Let's go ahead and set this up. We'll craft this. I do need my Master Infusion Crystal to be able to set these crafts up. There we go. And what should happen is this should get set up in here. We'll basically place this in here, or put the Master Infusion Crystal first. We need one of each, basically. I don't know if I can drag to set these spots. Can I? No, I can't. I actually need one of each. Do I have one of each? Oh, I do. Wow, I actually have one of each essence. That's awesome. Everything but Supremium I have. But that's okay. We can get that later. Prudentium, Supremium. Okay. So with this craft, it should automatically send this back. Let's see. Results of the crafting operation will go into the output buffer. No, we want this to go. Results will go into the input. Because when this makes Prudentium, we want the Prudentium to go into here. So we need to set that to Inferium, Prudentium, Tritium, and then Imperium, and then eventually Supremium will actually go in here. So we really have everything we need set up there. All we need to do is take some cobble, and this is what I like to do. I like to fill this whole thing in, and that way we don't have to worry about it anymore. So hit remember, and then you can pull this stuff out, and it's only going to hold those items. Perfect. Okay. So now that we're at this point, we can set this recipe and hit apply, and then we move on to the next thing. Very, very simple here. Move on to the next one. Make sure we replace this with the Master Infusion Crystal. Put it back, because it won't let me put it in my inventory for some reason while doing this. Oh, we also need to make sure we select the next section. Make sure that's put to insert like that. There we go. And this is going to be making this stuff, right? Perfect. Make sure that's the Master Infusion Crystal. There we go. And should we hit apply? Okay. So what we should end up with, I don't know why it's got this weird recipe thing going on here. We should get this all the way up to Supremium, and then we'll do the last upgrade there. So I believe on the last step, what we need to do is we need to set this to EXTC. So it's going to go into the external or the output slot, but things like buckets, which hopefully this counts as the Master Infusion Crystal, things that retain or stay in here will end up going back into this to be used. And so this is what we want. And that means Supremium will end up going into these slots, which will be our output slots. So once we set this one, we're basically done. We are done. And we should be able to keep this. And all we got to do now is just send Inferium into here. And that's going to craft all the way up into Supremium. So let's see if this works. At the moment, we have 13,000 Inferium. Speed upgrades. I went ahead and made a bunch of them, but we probably want stack upgrades in this, just because of how fast it is. We'll put it in fast mode. And then we're going to put the importer in the bottom. The exporter and importer need Inferium. And so if I put Inferium here, it should start putting Inferium in. And then we'll eventually stop. I don't know why that all turned black. What in the world? What did I do? I hit a few buttons and the interface is now this color. Uh-oh. Oh, apparently there's a search function up in the top for a filter. That's interesting. Okay, and that's what changed it. If that happens to you, well, now you know how to fix it. So yeah, this should eventually get this up to a Supremium. And there we go. We have the Supremium. That is still searching. That is weird. And then the Supremium finally made its way into our system. And it seems like it's working just fine. Now we need speed upgrades to upgrade this. We should probably do stack upgrades. Let's see, stack upgrades. We can probably make 2 of those. And then we'll just use speed upgrades to make this go even faster. Right? So 1 stack upgrade, and then that. I should go really fast now. And then down here, honestly, we could probably get away with just speed upgrades. I'll save the stack upgrade. Speed upgrades, I think, are going to be more than sufficient for that final outcome. But what we should see is eventually we're going to be left over with 128 inferium, and it should not use any more than that if this detector works properly. So it may have went a little bit over before the redstone signal actually kicked in, but as you can see, it is not consuming any now that it is at that point. So what we should see is when this number actually gets back up to 128 or 1028, then we should notice that it's going to unlock that redstone signal. And there we go. It's almost there. Once it hits that point, then it will kick back on. It'll probably drop down slightly below right here. And as you can see, it dropped down slightly, but then it's going to climb its way back up to that point, and it's only going to use it once it has enough to use. So at this point, we can definitely see how much supremium we have. We have 51 supremium. Now, my ultimate goal is, of course, to get Creative Flight with this setup. So now that we're here, Creative Flight is soon to come around the corner, and really all we need for Creative Flight, it's not as bad as you think it is. It's actually really, really simple. To get Creative Flight, we just need the Mystical Agriculture chess piece, just the chess piece. So it would basically be replacing our jetpack. And then all we need is the flight module. And the flight module is honestly not as bad as you might think. It's just 4 nether stars, supremium, basically crafted inside of an infusion altar, and with the the unattuned augment. And then we also need the modifier station, this right here, the tinkering table, which is really simple as well. And that's all you need. You don't need the full set. You just need your chess piece, and you just need to apply that. And to get the chess piece, I think we can honestly make this today. So if we take a look at what's required here, all we need are these prosperity gemstones, and we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to need 10 of the gemstones, and we're going to need 10 of the prosperity ingots. Like I said, it's not as bad as you think. And like this right here, every one of these, so we're going to basically be customizing them by 2. And we can start with supremium. We'll basically start with supremium, and we'll do 2 here with supremium. There's 2 of those, and we can do the ingots, 2 supremium ingots. And then what we're going to do is just break this down into where we have enough of this. So 12 of those, which will end up being 24. We'll break this down. And these will be their own separate ingots. And look how simple this is. Like, this is seriously just some plain, simple crafting here. And then we'll break these down until we have enough. Like I said, it's too easy to get flight, I think. Honestly, just waiting for essence. The mob farm, by the way, is really what's supplying most of our essence at this point. And now this is why I left a little bit of inferium essence, because we actually need this for crafts. So might as well get some use out of that. And now look at this. We literally have everything we need to make this chess piece. All I have to do is make a diamond chess piece, and we have Creative Flight. Like, it's literally that simple. Chess piece, diamond chess piece, and just watch. Boom, upgraded, and then we're about to have supremium that fast. Like, we might actually have enough supremium to make an entire supremium set. But like I said, all we need is a chess piece. I'm going to kind of do this to show you that. Also, this right here is the tinkering table. We'll go ahead and pull that out. And then I'm going to go ahead and prep myself to make the augment, the flight augment here. And we can go ahead and pull this out. And I just need 4 nether stars. So I'm going to go manually kill some withers. Let's see, wither skeleton skulls. We have plenty of those. Also, these souls can be crafted down into wither skeleton skulls as well. And soul sand. So we should be good. I have some compressed soul sand. Perfect. I'm going to go kill some withers. Preferably probably with this thing. The atomic disassembler actually does some pretty good damage against them. And just like that, there we go. We have our last nether star that we need. And just like this, even though I know it feels like cheating, even though it's not, we're about to have ourselves some creative flight, which it's just going to help with building, honestly. Like, the jetpack is definitely faster, but this is definitely going to help with all this. So, what we're going to do, I guess I can place it down. We have so much going on over here. Right there. Perfect. Put this in here. Opens up a slot. Now we have the Supremium chest plate with flight. And, well, we have creative flight. No more need for the jetpack. We now have creative, fully regular flight, allowing us to place blocks very, very precisely. It's just super nice. So I hope you guys got a lot out of today's episode. Of course, we got into some mystical agriculture automation and now flight. Things are getting a lot nicer for us as we have, honestly, we started in a bubble here. Well, things have really come a long way, which is really, really crazy. So guys, I do want to give a huge shout out, of course, to the sponsor of today's video. And that is going to go to Lowfire. Thank you so much for your amazing support over on Patreon. And guys, if you're interested in becoming a patron, of course, you can find that link down in the description below. Also, while you're there, be sure to check out the other links. I do have a link to my Twitch and or Discord. There's some places you can join. Also, I do have a Twitter if you guys want to follow me there. That's where I post some notification stuff and some stuff about IRL life and some memes and all kinds of fun things. But guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Of course, I'll see you in the next one. If you did enjoy, please click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give this video a huge thumbs up. And of course, I'll see you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.